really good.
No,
But
that was
the
security.
but the caption, but they have no idea what these voters.
It's
All right, thank you, everybody. Today is Monday, February 10th, 2025. The time is now 6 o'clock in the evening. We are here for the regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting at the Mesilla Town Hall. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is roll call and determination of a quorum. Gloria, if you would, please.
Mayor Hernandez,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Present.
Trustee Cadena,
Present.
Trustee Johnson Burr,
Here.
Trustee Nevadas,
present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are there any changes to the agenda? Or if I can have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. And unless there's objection or discussion, the motion will carry with unanimous consent. The agenda has been approved as it's been motioned by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick and seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Next up, we have approval of the consent agenda, which includes the public hearing and BOT minutes for 1/27/2025 PZHAC case business license 0519 for 3260 Avenue of the Mesilla, submitted by Rancho IJIR, requesting approval to relocate home occupation business in the RA zone. PZHAC case number 1307 for 3304 Neptune Drive by Tomlin Construction, applying for a business Mesilla business license to perform work in the town of Mesilla. Purchase order number 10-410 for Mesilla lateral extension in the amount of $110,867.06. Purchase order number 10-411 for design services for Moles and Corbin in the amount of $29,117.43. A purchase requisition for A Mountain A Mountain Construction through CES in the amount of $12,770.36, and a purchase requisition for ESA contractors through the statewide pricing agreement in the amount of $6,384.65. If I can have a motion to approve, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. And unless there's objection or discussion, the motion will carry with unanimous consent. Thank you for approval of the consent agenda that includes the public hearing and BOT meeting minutes, as well as PZHAC case business license 0519, PZHAC case 1307 for 3304 Neptune Drive, purchase order number 10-410, purchase order number 10-411, purchase requisition for A Mountain Construction, and purchase requisition for ESA contractors. Next order of business, we have public input on the cases, and that's where the public is invited to give input on the cases that are being heard this evening. If you have any input, please step forward and state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. I wanted to clarify something that's appearing in this resolution 2025-18. There are several references within that resolution to reflect rules and regulations. And there are no place that those rules and regulations are spelled out. So what are they? So it says the last, now therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Town of Mesilla hereby implements these regulations. But what are those regulations? I think that the public needs a little more information about what's going on here so that we can make a better informed, better informed comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kruger. Any other public comment?
Mayor and Board. Mary Lucero. I just wanted to touch real quick on the STR ordinance that's being looked over today or approved. I was just a little disappointed at the change of the percentage of or like the 200 feet, was it 200? Uh-huh. Yeah, the distance requirement. Because it took us a long time try to get to that number, all fairness to all neighborhoods and so on and so forth. And it just kind of got thrown back at a 10%. And then the fees, I thought that they were too low because they are infringing on our privacy. As you know, in neighborhoods, I'm not against them. I just think that they should totally be limited. And I think that you're giving a whole lot of freedom to the business people. Although it's not considered a business, it's really a business. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lucero. Any other public comment? Seeing as there is none, we'll move forward. Next item is for action and consideration. First up is approval of PZHAC case 61949 with conditions for 2380 Kyla Principal submitted by excuse me, I'm gonna butcher this. Trey Burko Freets requesting. I'm sorry.
Tiburcio.
Thank you, trustee. Requesting approval to renovate his commercial porch back to its original state in the historic commercial zone. I can have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion on the floor by trustee Johnson Burek, second by Mayor Pro Tem Merritt. We will open it up for discussion. If any.
Okay, Mayor, trustees, good evening. Eddie Salazar, Community Development. Basically, this is a renovation request from Mr. Tiburcio Fritz, 2380 Calle de Principal. It is listed or is located in our historic zone and listed in our historic registry. Building number 200, and I believe it's 199 or 119 is listed on the board action form. This building was reviewed by the P&Z through a workshop for the historical appropriateness permit before it was considered in the agenda. There wasn't any conditions. Everything's going to be renovated, including the brackets and such, back to they're going to use the same brackets. It's going to be made out of lumber, just the way the same dimensions and all. Again, it's more of a request to renovate the porch. Originally, they were going to renovate the south side of the porch, which was at one time was hit by a car, one of the posts, one of the 4x4 posts. It was repaired. Upon it was being repaired, the contractor noticed that there was a lot of wear in the porch itself. So they proposed it to the owner, and they went ahead and decided to go and renovate the whole porch front and back. And I stand by for any questions.
Trustees, any questions?
I do have because I'm reading real quick, just to confirm that the conditions, can you, because I don't see unless I'm missing it, the board action.
And that
Oh, right there.
Needs to maintain.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just couldn't see it, okay. My question it says a historical appropriateness permit is needed first. So is,
Yes, during the work session that we had before the regular meeting, we did have a work session with the P&Z for that historic appropriateness requirement to be met.
Any other questions, trustees?
but that's not part of the conditions, but it's just regular.
Yes, it's regular, correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Laura, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merritt,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burr,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 4 yeses.
Thank you very much for approval of PZHAC case 61949 with the condition. Next item on the agenda is approval of resolution 2025-18 for our short-term rental ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merritt, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. I'll open it up for discussion. And Eddie, if you'll start.
Yes, we did go through the ordinance for the grammar and some of the punctuations that Mrs. Walkinshaw helped us out with. It was very minimal, but obviously it did need to be fixed before it went to get codified as best as possible. Although I believe that once it goes to the publishing codification process, they will give it again another review for legal purposes and such to make sure that there isn't any controversy against any state statutes or anything like that. But as far as any changes, as far as how it was written or as before the last time you read it, there is no changes other than again just all grammar changes. This is actually made a comparison. There was I was speaking with Mrs. Walkinshaw. She was concerned because the resolution that was posted online was one that was used the last time we spoke here in this meet and this quorum. But again, I did a comparison of ordinances, documents, and it was very minimal. Again, it's very minimal. I have the document here. It's very minimal corrections. Again, they were necessary, but nothing that would change the way it was written or anything like that. I stand by.
I do also want to note that per our discussion in the last meeting, this still needs to be reviewed by our legal department. So we still will be having that completed. And then we'll do one more, once we receive that back, we'll do a one more quick run through on all of the grammar. And then get with the coding company to see exactly what's needed for codification.
The number itself on the ordinance, I'm not exactly sure. I asked the mayor, and I think we're going to ask go and get some answers from the codification company, but not exactly where it's going to fall under as far as what title, what number for the title is going to be and such. But I think we're going to find that out once we go through the codification process to make sure it's in the best area for our codes and ordinance. So not sure it needs to be a new title or under land. I think it needs to be under land use myself, under its own title. But again, we'll get clarification for that.
We'll verify with the legal on that as well.
Correct.
Any questions, trustees? No? Laura, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson Burr,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merritt,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 4 yeses.
Thank you very much for approval of resolution 2025-18.
Mayor, I'm so sorry. I meant to mention, I did appreciate the comments received from the public, from Ms. Lucero and Ms. Kruger regarding like the fees. And so, again, I think it's going to be something that we can evaluate in a year. So,
Yeah,
but I do
correct.
appreciate the comments. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee.
Thank you, Mayor.
And the motion does carry as it was, or approved as it was motioned by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Johnson Burek. Next item on the agenda is public input. This is where the public is invited to address the board for any other reason that you may like. So if you have any input, just step to the podium and state your name for the record.
I just wanted to add to my earlier comment. In the resolution, which is in support of the ordinance 2025-18, it refers in the third whereas to services and impacts on residential neighborhoods. So the rural farm and the rural agricultural zones appear to be not covered with that statement since they don't classify as residential neighborhoods. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Kruger. Any other public input? Seeing as there is none, we'll move forward to next item on the agenda being Board of Trustee Committee reports. And thank you for those of you that provided a written report in here as well. And so Trustee Nevadas, any report?
Still working. And I'm getting input from residents on the telecommunications tower. So that's a work in progress. So.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson Burek.
The NPO meeting this Wednesday at 1 p.m. at the Commission Chambers.
That's right. It is at the Commission Chambers this time.
Nice switch together.
Flips on us again. Trustee Cadena.
Well, I'll be attending the Taylor Reynolds Badilla meeting in March, which has been postponed from February to March. And I would plan on getting together with Gloria in the next couple of weeks to talk about finance, which she is so busy doing all the time. So we'll plan that.
Whenever you want to come by.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem.
We have MPO, just go off of Trustee Johnson Burek, and then committee report wise, my report's in there, but if you guys have any questions to elaborate on any of the meetings I've had or any of the information provided, I can give more detail. It's just all that detail would take up like 4 pages. So I try to summarize it as best as possible, but if you have any questions, I'm more than welcome to walk you through any of those conversations that I've already had. Or if you have any concerns that I can relay to Public Works or help them go when Lorenzo doesn't have time. So, and other than that, I don't have any other committee reports.
Great.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
sorry, I misunderstood. So for the board meeting reports, my apologies. Yes, I thank so much the marshal for getting back to me. I appreciate it and appreciate your comments. I did not hear from fire, but hopefully we can touch base for the next meeting. And we do, as Marshall had mentioned the last meeting, we do have that one opening and possibly another vacancy, not sure yet. But just trying, we kind of same ongoing issues, trying to make sure our pay matches municipalities of a similar size. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Did you have anything else, Mayor Pro Tem? No? My executive summary is also in there for all of the meetings. And I just want to put in one comment that I thought was where oversight always helps out, especially in communities in general. because I had a great meeting with the solar company a little bit earlier of last week, and meeting with them and kind of diving into the possibility of making some of the town structures go solar with some solar panels and solar infrastructure. And that not only includes, the buildings, it could be anything that has solar or has electricity that we pay as the town. But in doing that, and this is where oversight really comes through, because I think it's just one of those things. We pulled all of the electric bills and dive deep down into them in each specific location, and where we were paying for electric. And there was one electric bill in particular that was not anywhere near any of the public facilities that we own and manage, and it was actually out in the farmland. So we started raising questions and calling the electric company, but come to find out, we've been paying an electric bill since 1999 for somebody else's property. So it's just oversight is key, and when we find out this information, I think that's where when having the background of the finance team, and now having the ability with more people in position to really drive down on this key information, such as that, we'll find potential mistakes that have been missed in the past, and they're all unintentional. And it's just one of those things, and that's going to be a little bit more money brought to the bottom line that will hopefully, I mean, it's not going to be enough for salaries, but sorry guys, but it is something that will help out over time. So I thought that was a great thing to kind of point out, and a good job to the finance team on really diving down into that.
Mayor, I don't know if I really want to know the answer, but what was the amount for the almost 26 years?
So we were, we didn't dive into each electric bill specifically, but we just went. We just went over the past year, and the average, if we would have had the past 25 years worth of electric bill, we probably would have had an additional $60,000 to $70,000
Jesus Christ.
dollars to the bottom line. So
Holy cow.
it equates to big money at the end of the day. Yeah. So, and that's what we're looking at, just looking at the potential of all of our bills now, and driving down on all of that information as they're being received. So it's just good things, kind of the feel goods, if you will. Next up on the agenda is Board of Trustee and staff comments. So we'll start with staff, Marshall's department.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. No word on the cockatoo on our end. Has it been found? Do you know? We haven't got a call on it or heard about it.
No, they've still been looking and looking. No, I appreciate that. I really do. Resident reached out.
We were fortunate enough to get some more JAG funding allocated to us to cover the installation of the cameras on the plaza. So there will be one on the north end and one on the south end. I know we're running into some technical difficulties on trying to secure the south end, a pole or electricity on it. What else? My 2 units being outfitted. I'm waiting for a phone call this week to go get them. And then hopefully you'll have a purchase order request on your docket next meeting, so I can move forward in purchasing another unit. And then this past Friday in Albuquerque, Lieutenant Diaz and myself, along with all the other chiefs of police, city, municipality, university, and tribal for the state of New Mexico, had a meeting with the head agents for HSI and ICE. They wanted to explain the parameters regarding some of the executive orders that were handed down and what to expect from those. They also wanted to ensure and clarify the job and their goals to manage those executive orders. And then they did address certain incidents that were portrayed incorrectly through the media and other news outlets and what had actually happened. I'll stand for questions, or I'll be available to you all and the town folk if you want to come meet me at the station, and I'll go over my notes that I took. But just in general, they wanted to reassure us that they will not be, even though the executive orders give them authorization to go into hospitals, churches, and schools. They are not doing that and will not do that. The only place they are hanging around is outside of courthouses. But they assured us that they will not go into churches, schools, or hospitals. And they requested that if we get any concerns brought to us, we can call them directly. I have their numbers. That way they can track it down and see exactly who it was and if it did or did not happen. The two incidences they talked about were in Mescalero and one in the Navajo Nation in Arizona. And they ran those to the ground to where it was determined what was stated in the news did not actually happen. So, like I said, I'll stand for questions or calls from you guys if you want to meet at my office, or I can meet you wherever and I can go over those notes. Other than that, the Cupid's 5K race we had on Saturday went well. My guys said there was the number they saw were 1,100 people involved, but it went from 9 a.m. and they were done by 10:30 a.m. No major issues on my end. Traffic control was good. And then the construction didn't really affect them in any way. So I'll stand for any questions.
In your report, you listed an animal bite attack. I'm assuming it was a dog.
Yeah.
What typically happens when that, because that's one of the things that residents kind of.
So if
lose dogs in the neighborhoods. And
so if the person actually goes to the hospital or the doc in the boxes that day, we'll get dispatched to it. From what we usually get is they call a couple days later and decide to bring it up, and it's really hard to track down a dog. If we do track down a dog, they can either be home quarantined or it'll be quarantined at the pound. And depending on the background of the dog, if it's been cited before, if the owner's been cited before, then they'll come in front of the judge and he can render orders of surrender or anything else on that end.
Okay. Because that's one of the things that sometimes residents
Yeah.
report is loose dogs and they're having to protect their pet from loose dogs.
Yeah, my recommendation is just call us immediately after it happens. God forbid you get bit, but if you do, call us because that gives us a better advantage of going to the scene or trying to track down the animal.
Okay.
Nothing else. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Fire Chief.
Mayor and Board of Trustees, not a whole lot going on. We're still working on the floor situation at the station. We are working with county on a couple of big projects. So they're putting on a firefighter 1 and 2 academy. We're going to be helping teach that academy and run our new cadets through that so they have certifications, because that looks a lot better on ISO. And it also eliminates us having to run a 3-month academy, which is nice. And we're also looking at trying to fall in with them on their firefighter physicals that are required, but we've never done them. So they have a contractor that will come in, fold us in on their rate, which comes out to $640 a firefighter, which is really, really inexpensive. They're normally $1,500 to $2,000, which is why we've never done it. When I was a paid firefighter for El Paso, we had them done every year. They're tracking cancer, they're tracking your hearing, which right now I can't hear, all of that stuff, your vision. And they've caught people early stages of cancer. So it's one of the things we'd really like to try and work on. So the mayor and I have been working on trying to figure that one out. For 40-ish firefighters, it's about $24,000 a year. So those are our big projects right now beyond the SCBA problem that we're still dealing with. So other than that, things are going pretty good. And if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add a couple things. Hello, Mayor, Board, members of the community. Just a little bit of update on some of the things Chief was talking about. County is putting on a hazmat A&O class, which is a IFSAC Pro Board accredited certification class that's going on this weekend and next weekend. I'm assisting the county captain in teaching that class. And by doing that, we were able to sneak some of our people in there. So I think we've got about 6 that are going into the class, and then however many from the county. I think it's like 20 or something. We got 6 of our members who were able to sign up. So I'll be assisting him in instructing that class. Just last Friday, we went to this training also over at the county building. They've been doing a lot of good things for us, trying to get us into their trainings and keeping this whole mutual aid thing going. So we took this class called NFPA 1400, which is the roadmap for the modern fire instructor. So these guys from the ISFSI, which is the International Society of Fire Service Instructors, came around from across the country to teach this class to us, members of Doniana Fire Rescue, Las Cruces Fire Department, Sunland Park Fire Department, and people from Fort Bliss Fire. They all came to this class. We all worked together, got to bounce a bunch of ideas off of each other to figure out how to teach adults and how to make sure that we're doing the right thing to keep our departments running the right way. Just something I want to kind of brag on myself a little bit here. So as of 2 weeks ago, I now meet all of the requirements for my job description. I had a year to get XYZ certifications. I've now obtained them all, and I'm signed up for more. So I'm signed up for the fire investigator class that's occurring in Socorro, and I'm trying to get into an inspector class that's over in the Alabama Fire College.
You're still on probation.
So. Don't let me go. I'm working on some good stuff here. But yeah, just to close, we're working on trying to create a comprehensive structure to revamp our training system that Chief was talking about, trying to go towards a more accredited certification program for our firefighters rather than just saying, oh, well, we taught you this and they can't take that anywhere else. Now they're able to get certifications through us that say, you have met these national standards. Here's your paper. And now if they go on to go get a job somewhere else, they work for the city, the county, anywhere in the country, they can now take these papers with them that said they received proper training, and that seal is worth gold. So that's what we're working on right now. But do you guys have any questions?
I do. Well, not a question, a comment. Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. Of course, just a couple of updates also too on projects that are going on here in the town. As you can see, we've been having the sewer and manhole water lids been worked on the avenue. That's still going to go on about a week or so, but we do have posted on the website and on the webpage about a closure for tomorrow and Wednesday night from 8 p.m. all the way through 6 in the morning, give or take, depending on how fast they're able to do it, So that's posted up there just in case, and the map and everything is posted there so that we all are aware of the detours and where everything needs to go. And we have started the Santiago project, started over off at the plaza. The curbs are in already there. Those are done on the east end of the plaza. Now they're hitting the ADAs starting from San Albino and that area. And the bridge is supposed to start mid to the end of February, depending. I heard from Chris today about that. I don't know if they're going to get the piping in, but hopefully that still goes as planned because watering will come pretty fast. And the Calle Picacho project it's getting there. It's almost there. We have one more big tie-in that myself and the guys will be here overnight. That's going to be an overnight closure, and only because we're going to have to shut down part of the main system of the water. So the notices will be out, tomorrow, letting you guys know, what the circumstance will be. No need to panic if we get a little bit of pressure down. It's going to be through the nighttime. That's why we chose that. And so hopefully that goes successful, so that way they can put the finishing touches to the Calle Picacho project. And I'll stand by for questions.
Comment. I mean, I thank you for the curbs and taking care of those loose bricks around the plaza. It's a very, very important step.
Mm-hmm. They came out really nice. Now it's all complete there.
Yeah, not people have to worry about those loose bricks.
Great. Thank you, Lorenzo. Eddie, Mr. Salazar.
Good evening again, Mayor, trustees. Business renewals, just around the corner, March 15th. My goal is to get all the renewal notifications out mailed by the 10th, which is today. We got most of them done. Definitely be getting them out, the rest of them out by tomorrow. So make sure that everybody receives them. Last year, we had some complication with our system, not encode. They weren't all accounted for whenever they were master list was printed for the purpose of mailing. So I made sure that we try to get it as close as possible. We reviewed every single business licenses on there. There are a couple that are questionable, but we're still going to send them those letters anyways in case we do get a response back. We know where they stand as far as our business. We're also going to include the Mercado and the special events on there as well, so that again, there's a lot of those that I don't recognize because I don't deal with them, person to person. But again, just to kind of get our system up to date on that. The next thing also tomorrow, I'll be working on sending out a 45-day notice certified mail-ups to all the unregistered short-term rental businesses out there. I'm going to give another look at online to make sure there isn't any new ones that have popped up anytime soon. But again, I'll be doing those mailing those notices tomorrow. Miss Liana is working on. She's been helping me out with the business registrations notifications, but she's also working on a presentation for retention records retentions proposal, because we do have a lot of records that are just not organized in the sense, and also some of these records have been filed physically. They're just creating more cluster more than anything. So we are scanning them. We're still going to have them, but there are some records that are not necessary to keep. Some of them go back 10 years. Maybe a resident wanted to paint his wall or restucco his house or something like that. Not necessarily keep those kind of records, but we do have a guideline from the state statute organization or the state. And again, we'll be presenting that here shortly for approval. Mr. Brian Reeves, he's one of our alternates. Recently, there was appointed for the commission, the PZAC. He did send me an email with resignation on resigning from the position due to the oversight on his part and also on my part regarding his residency here in Mesilla. He does have property here. I deal a lot with Mr. Reeves. He's got power. He's got water and all that stuff. He even has a structure on his property, but he doesn't live there. He doesn't live in that property. So again, just for transparency, I want to make sure that we corrected that and brought that up to the board for that. So what that does is that does leave two positions all open still for the alternate, and we do have two applicants. Tomorrow we'll be giving some phone calls. We'll be setting up some interviews with that to make sure so we can move forward on that as well. Get those positions filled. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Eddie. Ms. Gloria.
As the mayor said, we're doing inventories on computers, emails, telephone lines, all that, to ensure that this doesn't come up again, just like what happened with the electrical service that we had. And it's budget time, so we're getting ready for that.
Fun.
Fun.
Thank you. Trustee Nevares, any comments?
I already made my comments.
Trustee Johnson Burek.
Just a couple of things. Yes, resident from Mesilla Park reached out to me, and there is a 10-month-old cockatiel that accidentally escaped from their home. And of course, just like any pet owner, the husband and wife are very, very distraught. He's only 10 months old, so he doesn't have the ability to kind of function on his own independently, if that makes sense. So hopefully he'll be seen, so just keep on the lookout. And then, yes, Cupid's Chase. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing this year. And a shout out and kudos to the Marshal Department and all the other law enforcement entities that assisted with that traffic control, because it was very well done. Very well done. So good job. I think that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you. Oh, and thank you for the calendar of events.
Trustee, what
Yes.
color is the coffee?
I have a picture of it.
They're different colors, so I didn't know.
Yeah, he's like blue and yellow. It's beautiful.
So like a blue.
Oh, his name is Octavius.
Okay. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it was around your area
Yeah.
too.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Cadena.
I just want to say that I finally got on the Mesilla Community Connect. And it was very simple. And I can tell that I can go back in and update it anytime. So, and I appreciate all these written documents. It helps me to stay abreast of the situation. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to say congratulations to the fire department. You guys have been working. I don't think you guys have come up here and not said that you guys aren't working interdepartmentally with everybody to try and get as much knowledge, resources, and anything like that possible for our very small fire department. So that's great. And that's a testament to our chief and all the work he's done and what Cole has done under him and the success he's having as well. So congratulations on that. I also want to say good job to Gloria because it's a lot. All of that paperwork, all of those I've gone through it. It's a lot of work and I'm glad that we were able to approve last year on the budget to get her help and get her all the assistance she needs because now she can dive down deep and really look at the numbers and make sure we don't have any oversight for anything small that we might have missed. So hopefully we have a good budget season this year. And then I think that's all I've got. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And I'll just finish with you have the listing that's in here for the current projects that we have underway, which has already been mentioned. Of course, we'll be adding to it as we continually go on. And I think that there's some that we are missing on here. So I'll get with the entire team on this. And then the calendar of events, I'll make sure that we keep that updated. I did add, as you note on there, the items in red are specific for planned public forums and hearings. And we'll try to plan those out ahead of time, such as in March, at the second meeting in March, having a planned public hearing for our arts and culture ordinance, at the public hearing for signage ordinance updates, and then the communications tower ordinance updates. We might include a few others in there. These are, when we do the public hearings for ordinance changes in particular, they do have to go through the 30-day period of statutory being posted in the legal section, so on and so forth. So that's why the advanced kind of also helps us in planning so we can have that. One of those that you will probably also be seeing, because Eddie just brought it up, is with the business license and permitting. And that's just because if we have a business license that is not renewed within a timely fashion, that penalty fee is very low. So we might be reevaluating that and bringing that back because as I mentioned before, in the oversight, kind of like how when we had the oversight with the utility bills, there's oversight with what jives with when a permit is being renewed, if it's been renewed, if it hasn't been renewed, so on and so forth, if they're still in business within the town, that type of deal. And so that's oversight between multi departments that needs to be happening because just in diving down in a few of the businesses here in town and going down the list, there's a few that have not renewed that are still in business. So it does help out when we have that oversight of the finance team as well as other departments to really drive down on that information. There again, just keeps accountability straight and forward, and keeps everything moving in a transparent manner as best as we can. You'll constantly see this updated, and as soon as we get the website updated, we'll have a specific so that it can be shared not just in the packet, other ways as well. And that's really all. Unless there is any objection, this meeting. Thank you.
Fire chief, I don't know where I got. I was thinking of a parrot.